So at this point, it's my absolute honor to introduce the next speaker. And of course, I forgot to take his bio up here. Do you want me to read your bio? Or can I do a personal introduction? Yes. So our next speaker, Gene Kelly, will dance on stage. Actually, let me just do the formal introduction first. Gene Kelly is a president and CEO of the Accelerated Training Institute. He's a serial entrepreneur, educator, author, direct marketing expert, business success coach, and board certified protection professional. He is also the proprietor of Kelly Family Vineyard, an award-winning vineyard and winery in the Napa Valley. And he will be teaching us how to create autonomy in your life and magnetically attract and retain affluent clients and customers. So I had the privilege to meet Gene in the mastermind last year, and it was phenomenal. Gene is somebody who is full of knowledge. Do you remember I mentioned when you work with me, I will give you resources, right? I will make introduction. These are my friends. These are the experts that I can connect you to because I can only do so much, right? And what we want to do is we want to leverage other people's knowledge, other people's expertise. And Gene is one of those people. Do you want me to just say a little bit?
Please.
So Gene is going to come up here. He's an owner of a winery, and he's going to talk about wines. And I actually joined his organization as a partner in this wine membership, and I don't even drink. I only take the wines to some of the top influencers in the world. And the reason for that is because I understand the value of autonomy. You've heard some of us sharing the story where, we come from a humble background and we've achieved what we have. And so we want to keep that autonomy, right? We want to stand on our own. And Gene demonstrated that beautifully. And he's such an honor to have him here. He's one of our sponsors. Please give him a round of applause. And please welcome up to the stage, Mr. Gene Kelly.
After that beautiful shimmy, I am not going to be doing any tap dancing up here. I could not top that. Just sing into the rain. Okay. Hey, so let me ask you a question. If you could achieve the kind of lifestyle that you want, what would it be? What do you kind of have in your head, right? What should your life look like? And we could spend days talking about autonomy and how to create autonomy in your life. And I'm only going to give you one little slice of it, but I'm going to leave you with a tool that you can utilize to position yourself with your absolutely best and most affluent customers, clients, and friends to magnetically attract them. And we need these tools because you're all successful. I was successful, and we'll get into that, but I still needed tools. So what we want to touch on is how to create the autonomy lifestyle that magnetically attracts affluent customers, patients, and clients, and I will say more than that, retains them. Because you know how expensive it is to acquire a customer, right? I mean, if it's one and done, no bueno. You need to retain the relationship. And I'm going to show you how to do that, a tool in your toolbox. But we'll get through a little more autonomy first. Is the microphone a little too hot? Or is it good? Okay. All right. So first, what is autonomy? You've heard the word. Here's the definition that we use. It's self-governance to decide for yourself and pursue a course of action in one's life. That's autonomy. That's really what you want. I do not wait for someone else to set the rules. I'm a rule breaker. Okay? I mean, that's usually everything where I've had success is either coloring outside the lines or as close to that line as possible without going to jail. And I'm not saying about doing anything morally wrong. It's just a lot of rules are a lot of burden, and they were created because somebody else created a problem. And because I know I serve my students, my clients, the people I work with, I don't worry about that. What I do worry about is not being shackled. So I'm always looking for autonomy in my life, and that gives me the freedom to create and to do. And you've heard about a lot of that today, about the mindset. And, you know, the next line there, the next little paragraph I'm standing in front of, autonomy lifestyle is a choice. It's a choice. But you have to make that choice. So that's what it really boils down to. That's the first step in achieving autonomy, is deciding that you're going to. I mean, some of these immigrant stories, you know, my grandfather was an immigrant, came over with $50 in his pocket, paid people to teach him how to speak English, and eventually worked for a corporation, and then he bought some land. He literally cleared the land, created a farm in Minnesota. And, you know, so I'm not that first generation, but man, I still look back to it. And it was because he decided. He did it the day after his 18th birthday, and he never saw his mother again. So you have to make those decisions. Same thing with autonomy. You declare it, and then you act accordingly. So build your life the way you want it to be. Now here's an image of autonomy, and we'll talk a little bit more about what this image represents, but that was one of the... Emily, I think you were there too. We flew private down to another meeting just because it was the only convenient way. Now, more than ever, we live under other people's rules. We just talked about that. I'm done with it. You need to create your own rules, what you will do, and also what you won't do for money. That's an important tip that I received from Dan, and you'll hear about Dan a few times during this presentation, because we got to have our own internal rules. I'm not saying be immoral at all. I'm saying you need to have a set of rules that you can live by, but they're your rules first. Then you deal with the rest of the world's rules. And even more importantly, and I've heard it, and I'm not going to belabor it here, but how is your time spent? Hugely important. And if you don't create a degree of autonomy, and that's what almost every other speaker is talking about, via leverage, via time management, via prioritization, to be able to be in control of your time. Those are some of the steps to autonomy. But here's another path, and that's a financial part of the path. And to do that, you need to have the right people come into your business. Again, I won't belabor that too much because you've heard from others. You have to have some sort of leverage, but more than that, you need to be dealing with the right people. Because if you have the right client, the one that can afford the $30,000 rather than, you know, just the minimum repair to limp by and you're practically a charity case. And nothing wrong with charity. I believe in it. But that's not going to give you the path to autonomy. So you need to attract and retain the right people. And that's also through bigger dollar transactions as well. So Dan Kennedy is part of this, what he said, is, you know, when you want to have autonomy, and this is poorly written grammar here, but basically you want to be fun and you want to be different. I don't fit anybody's little nice square box. In fact, I'm probably the poster child for different. And you'll see a few of my toys, and they're my toys because I like them. So Dan and I have worked together. Dan is really well known throughout the information marketing world. I first started working with him about 20 years ago when he was doing coaching in his basement of his home. And we're still in touch. His wife is also a partner in Autonomy because he got it for her as a very unique gift. So Sally Hogshead, this is her book on Fascinate. And it's something I'd recommend you look at because again, it's about positioning. So a lot of what I'm going to talk about is creating more autonomy through positioning that attracts affluent customers, clients, and friends, because friends are a pathway to all sorts of opportunities. And that's part of our autonomy partnership, is the ability to share ways to help each other through sort of a mastermind. And if you're not part of a mastermind, I strongly recommend that you join one. One of these groups have been presented today, get a mentor, but also be part of a mastermind, because all those minds working together on a problem, it's amazing what you can solve. So here's one of my toys. Now this one, I'm holding the Dare to Be Different award, because this is a 1957 hot rod with big engine, but the flame job on it is incredible. But even more important to me was it was done as a tribute car to Ratfink. Now, Ratfink is way before most of your kids, you little kids' time, but it is coming back around. It was an anti-corporate kind of renegade symbol. And so I use this car for part of my positioning with our educational company. Well, there's a couple of more toys. Another toy. I love old vehicles, collector vehicles. I live on a vineyard, so I got to have my own fire truck, right? And very politically incorrect. I have a lot of specialized licenses, and my nickname is Gene Machine Gun Kelly. Not the rapper, although I'm thinking about trying it. So some of those toys. And this is one of my latest daily driver. So just again, it's fun, it's different. I don't care what other people think. If they're shocked, that's fine with me. It doesn't matter. These are my toys. I get to play with my toys, and if you want to go play with different toys, that's fine. So, autonomy and living a positioned lifestyle that looks different, that people, not just to be strange, you can do that too, right? But looking to be affluent and projecting that confidence helps attract the right type of clients, vendors, deals, all kinds of opportunities. It really does magnetically attract people. You want to be with somebody who's living out of a cardboard box, working with them, or where you think, and don't raise your hands, but in the back of your mind, do you ever wonder if their friends and associates think you're successful or not? They might not think you're successful. They might think you're very successful, but you don't know. You feel a little less confident about that. And that's why your positioning has to be solid if you're going to attract funds. Okay. So my story. I have, in the security world that Emily talked about, I've worked with an Israeli firm for about 30 years, traveling different places in the world, doing both executive protection, site surveys, environmental security, etc. I've also at the same time, because I can't stand doing just one thing, have run educational companies, and I'm president, CEO of the Accelerated Training Institute, where we teach job skills, welding, electrical, plumbing, etc., on a new platform where we can accelerate their learning from years to literally weeks and months before they're productive in the workplace. But with all of that, I am renegade in the sense I have a lot of alphabets behind my name, but I have no degrees. I don't even have an AA, and I don't need one. But I found that within certain circles, people they didn't provide the respect, even though I was a multimillionaire already. There wasn't the same level of respect. There wasn't the acknowledgement of a level of affluency. And so, I didn't go out and just stack Porsches in my front yard or something like that. I followed my own passion. But out of that passion, one of those, having grown up in the Napa Valley, which is the premier wine growing region in the world, I wanted to own a vineyard. And so during the downturn, I had an opportunity to acquire just an absolutely premium property, but it had not been properly taken care of. So I took that on. We created some new management. We started creating world-class wines. That changed everything on the outside. Because what happened when I started giving away bottles of our wine to our family wine, Kelly Family Vineyards, to associates, business, taking it to a business dinner, sending it as a Christmas gift or a Thanksgiving gift, all of a sudden I could feel the change. The positioning was clear because this is something they couldn't achieve. They can't just go own a winery. It's a multi-million-dollar investment. So in the Elevate group that Emily was talking about, one of our mastermind groups, people were commenting on this and they were enjoying the wine and so on. And out of it came this idea of positioning to where I'm going to help you have the same level of prestige and calling card that I have. So this has been the ultimate relational tool. You'll see it even is influential to people that don't drink. They're still so appreciative of the craft and the art that is wine. Wine goes back tens of thousands of years, and it is a part of just when we break bread together over a dinner, there's a change in positioning. This is a change in relationship as well. So Kelly Family Vineyards, they overlaid the sign over the beautiful grapes. I'd rather actually see the bins of grapes more, but that's my assistant did that, and I didn't get her to change it fast enough. It is in this positioning of the vineyard, and I love it when people come on. I get a chance to walk them around that vineyard and explain everything that happens over a year-long cycle, because vines need to be tended by hand. And in fact, if you are interested in this at all, biblically in the Bible, there's all kinds of stories about vines. And even Jesus talks extensively about vines and treating the vines. So this is my winemaker, Bob. He's a world-renowned winemaker, consults with us, consults in South America as well. Those are our barrels. And me in the front of there with Autonomy hat, very happy. As I said, this has become the best calling card I've ever had. People are respectful suddenly that wouldn't otherwise give me possibly the time of day. Now, this is a very nice gentleman, Marcus Lemonis, but he literally told me he's taking that bottle home to his wife. He doesn't drink, but his wife loves wine. So he's bringing something home. He's a billionaire, yet he's going to make his wife happy, and that is positioning. Because one of the things that was said here today, I totally agree with it. People never forget the way you make them feel. This is about creating that feeling, creating that relationship and that feeling, and a bonding. Whether they receive it in the mail, and I've had people send me little videos online, oh, look what I just got, so on. And I've also shared it over dinners or over even just a picnic. And it's building a different relationship with people. So this is where you come into this and where all this could work for you. We have a very small number of partners, 100 partners, what we're limited to right now. And we are very selective of who can join us because it is a mastermind or relationship of our partner groups in addition to being a tool for our partners. So what I want you to think about, you may not qualify for this, but think about in your own autonomy, creating your own autonomy, what could you do? What could you give? What experience could you provide? So that's your takeaway from us. So there is a feeling, in addition to the experience within the office, that you can provide people that would attract and retain the best and the most affluent. This happens to be a very turnkey tool that you can use if you qualify. So this is a thank you that has always had impact. I've never had anybody, when they see it's from us or one of our partners, and you'll see how it works for the partner, never not be impressed. Okay? Also, anybody have any family that just doubts you? They think you're crazy, or they don't believe you've made it or whatever? Bring in a bottle of your wine to the family dinner, whether it be the nuclear family or the big family, is positioning as well. And it's good for your own mental health. You need to declare your autonomy, and you need to declare your positioning. And you'll honestly be able to say with our program that you're a partner in exclusive vineyard in the Napa Valley, and you will be. Now, there's Autonomy, just an event we had. Here's a brief video that I hope will play. Most winemakers will tell you great wine is made in the vineyard. And it's how the vineyard is treated. The vineyard, there is so much handwork that goes on. We've had winemakers come to us and say, man, this is a real special piece of property after they taste our fruit. Autonomy wine is estate grown right here on our property, in our vineyard. Every vine is literally hand tendered and taken care of. By doing that, we believe we make a superior wine. And a winemaker works with the great grapes, which excellent wine is made in the vineyard, and ours really is made in the vineyard. Autonomy is the ability to choose for yourself your path in life. Cheers. Cheers. Okay, so here are just a few of our autonomy partners. These are people that I know and vet before they can join our partnership. And you probably know a few of those names, but every one of them is successful, but is able to use this as a tool. And some of what you saw in that video is the events that we hold on the vineyard property for our autonomy partners. We had a lobster feed in the vineyard in the spring. Every fall we have a release party of the new wines. By the way, just a little aside, you don't just turn on, grab a bunch of grapes and make wine, and the, next day you send it out. Maybe some wineries do, and it's essentially a 4-year process for our wines before we will release them. And so there's an investment in that kind of quality, which is why those wines have so much impact as well. Our wines have been winning double gold medals at places like San Francisco Chronicle Tasting Board, and just recently Sunrise Magazine's tasting. So Sunset Magazine tasting. Here's one couple, and just to show you, this is out of category marketing and positioning. This is Ron and Jill. They have Texas Baseball Ranch, your neck of the woods here, and they teach kids to become better pitchers, protect their body, and have a greater length of time pitching before they damage something, so they avoid damaging. And they bring some people all the way up to the big leagues. They have been using this as positioning within their vendors and their relationships, and even with some of their best clients, but also with their staff. They've used it as a reward. And they were telling me a story over dinner, and I think Emily heard this too, but they said when one of their staff was given a bottle as a reward, they were like, better than a trophy. They're like, oh, I finally got a bottle of Autonomy. So it's many different ways you can use the positioning.
We're Ron and Jill Wolforth from Montgomery, Texas, owners of Ron Wolforth's Texas Baseball Ranch, also known as the Texas Baseball Ranch, and we're excited to be a part of the Autonomy Group. To us, the name itself says a lot, says a very lot, but just as important, the wine is phenomenal. The people that were around are terrific. So it's just a very special opportunity, and we encourage you to take advantage of it.
And it was a real wonderful couple days. We got to see the vineyard itself. We got to visit with the winemaker. We had an amazing balloon trip. So it was an amazing. The band was awesome. It was playing 1980s music, which is 70s and 80s music was right up my alley. So it was just a wonderful experience. But like Jill said, the bottom line is that all things were wonderful, but the bottom line is the wine was spectacular, and that's what matters most to us.
So here's another one of our partners that you might recognize. And, well, I'll let her, in her own words, tell you about it.
Hi, I'm Dr. Emily Letron, speaker and high performance coach, and I am here in Napa Valley joining my friend Gene Kelly and his wonderful son Jacob. And we are enjoying the launch party of the Autonomy wine. And you know what? I have a confession to make. I don't even drink. So my friends were asking me, why did you join the Autonomy? Well, you know, it is the concept, it is the philosophy, it is the lifestyle where you live for yourself, you have your own values and beliefs, and you strive to have the best life for you, for your family, for the community, and you don't necessarily have to listen to rules and regulations. You know what's most important for you, and you live that lifestyle. And I was joined by wonderful friends, entrepreneur friends who have the same values, who understand the importance of autonomy, and we're proud to be partnered with Gene Kelly to launch this particular wine product. And I would love for all of you, professionals and entrepreneurs, to join us here in Napa Valley. Join us at one of the gatherings, the party, become a partner, and make sure you live that autonomy lifestyle and leave a legacy for yourself and your family. So see you here soon, whether or not you drink.
All right, so here's a little bit of what you get as a partner. Your name is actually on the wine bottle. So we are a licensed bonded winery, and we are able to put on a separate label your name. So your name or your company name. And you'll see that, and we'll have some demonstrations of that. And you'll actually get the chance to taste the wine a little bit later during the book signing today. You get multiple cases of the wine to give as gifts. There's member events and networking. As I said, we're very selective who we're letting join as partners because we want that mastermind feeling. And we do get together as a group online and then actual physical events. Website partner profile. Okay, now this is kind of cool. So you give a bottle of wine to one of your clients or someone you'd like to do business with. And it's a great way also to make your top 50 list and send bottles of wine with letters and follow-up and so on. But anyway, they go and they enjoy the wine and they're curious. What's this thing about partner, Emily Letron? So they look it up the website and they will find on our website that first off, the wine is $500 a bottle. And second, they can't buy it. They can't get it. It's unavailable to anybody except our partners. You saw the rows of vines with the plaques. Those are our members' names on their row, okay? Just to be clear, it's not an equity position in the vineyard itself. It's a marketing position of you with autonomy. But we are transferring to you that story, my story, I told you how it changed everything with all these relationships. We're transferring that autonomy prestige to you. And literally for a fraction, a very small fraction of the investment that needs to be made to otherwise have it. And that's why they're impressed. So there's one of the bottles. That table happens to be a 20-foot long redwood table all out of one slab that we had made just for our gatherings with our Autonomy partners. We had a beautiful dinner there just a couple months ago. And this is an example, that happens to be Texas Baseball Ranch, but you'll see Emily's later and mine, name on the label below the legal label. So events and networking, I'm looking at the time, I'm going to move through this pretty quick. We get together. We went on a tour of the Castle di Omarosa, which is an Italian castle that they made in the Napa Valley, moving all the stone from Italy. The guy's a phenomenal entrepreneur. We had, as they were talking about, full band and events on the property there. The group, we went balloon riding, a lot of fun. Again, I'm not sure which is taller, the post or... So, when you give a bottle of your wine, people are going to be impressed. It's that simple. Here are a few, these are just some people that Emily gave bottles to, and this is like a third of them. The guy over on the left over there, he's got a funny last name, Zuckerberg. Okay, this is Mark Zuckerberg's dad. He does not look unhappy getting a bottle of wine, does he? And I think, Emily, what do you say, he had like a wine cellar with 1,200 bottles in it or something like that? So Sharon Lecter and her husband, Mr. Reed, he wrote the book 3 Feet from Gold, which is a great book to remind yourself you're not that far away from success. Mark Victor Hansen, I mean, anybody look like they're not happy getting a bottle of wine, right? This is priceless, though.
Hey, I wanted to share something really cool that happened today. I got a package in the mail from Dr. Emily Letran. Now, the cool part is, today is actually Dr. Emily Letran's birthday, and I got a present from her. So I kind of knew this was coming. She can't make it to our Bourbon and Beyond event. She has a speaking engagement, but she still wanted to be there in spirit. So what she did was ordered some wine. I know it's a bourbon event, but we still accept wine. But what's cool about the wine is it is Autonomy wine, and it's a really good California wine, one of her favorites. And she is a partner with Autonomy Wine. If you can see right there, Dr. Emily Letran, Autonomy partner, and she asked that since she couldn't be here and a lot of her friends were going to be on this Bourbon and Beyond experience, that we bring the wine along and we share it and kind of think about her while she can't be there. So, Emily, number 1, happy birthday. Number 2, thanks for the present. Number 3, I promise we will drink this on our Bourbon Trail adventures and think of you.
So that's the punchline. She's not even going to be there, and they're going to be talking about her and thinking about her, and some of the people are going to look it up online and be blown away. So it's not only positioning, it's leverage too. So when they enjoy it and realize just how good the wine is, they'll be curious and go to autonomywines.com. They're going to see your partner profile, then they'll realize the wine you gave them cost $500 a bottle and is totally unavailable for them to purchase. That's positioning, guys. That's part of autonomy, is positioning. Creating the life that you want, the lifestyle that you want. So if you don't qualify for a partner, as to be a partner, still take this idea and do something with it, because you can. They can't buy it, they have access. As a result, they view you as affluent. They can't help it. And as fascinating, okay? And you need to be fascinating if you're going to attract people. So, we have a limited number of partnerships available. One of our other partners is going to be speaking here, Sam, on a totally different subject, but we've connected, and as a result of this connection over these things, we've got a whole nother little enterprise opportunity going. So, we do have rules on our partners. And who's a good fit? I look for a good fit. Somebody's going to fit into our mastermind concept. And absolutely no butt heads, because I get to make the rules. right? So, and then tonight, we are going to be tasting the Autonomy wines. If you think you might qualify for this or are just curious and want to learn a little bit more or want to share this with somebody else, just ask me. I've got an information packet right there for you. And that is it. Thank you.